Hey guys, good morning. Tony Porter, Tabletop Baseball Digest, and got a game going here. Pretty interesting. We've got the Rangers playing at Cleveland, and it's Fritz Peterson, an A, versus Fergie Jenkins, a C. But, Fergie Jenkins, outstanding card, and his C is as good as another pitcher's A. So let's see what happens. It's 1-0 so far. Pretty cool that a guy named Ozzie Blanco with 36 at bats, 7 hits, and 2 RBIs uh, basically banged a single up the middle for an RBI. And that's the score right now, 1-0. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Playing Fall Classic Baseball. There's one out here, and it's George Hendrick who's batting. He's a right-handed batter versus Fergie Jenkins. And here's the pitch. It's a 25, which will be an out, and that's an 18. That's a fly ball lifted to center. Tovar, a couple of steps to his right, and he waits for it and makes the catch. Here's Ozzie Blanco. It's a 1-0 game. Cleveland's up 1-3-1, and Texas is 0-2-0. And Ozzie Blanco, who so far is the hero of the day, is singled home the only run. And let's see what he does here. Remember, he's one of those guys that didn't play very much, 36 at bats, but he's included in the set because all the players that have at least 15 at bats get cards. And the roll is going to be a 44, and that's going to be lined and foul ball. Next pitch is outside, and that's a base on balls for Blanco. So he did walk 7 times in 36 at bats. So he picks up a walk, so he's been productive. A hit's as good as a walk. And it's Dave Duncan, the catcher for the Cleveland Indians in 1974. And Fergie Jenkins with the pitch. And that's going to be a 61, which is a swing and a miss, and he strikes out Duncan to end the inning. We go to the top of the fifth. 1-0 ball game. We've got an A pitcher versus a C pitcher. Fritz Peterson going for the Cleveland Indians. And he will face Jim Fregosi, who in our replay is batting 280. In reality, he batted 281. The Rangers is one of the 5 teams that I'm replaying. I'm doing a 5-team replay. 13, and that'll be a fly ball lifted to right field and spikes over near the line, and he makes the catch. 1 down here in the top of the 5th. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and please comment. Tell me what you think. Always good to hear from you guys out there. Have good conversations with you all. And it is Toby Harrah, one of my favorite players growing up. 43, and its line ripped and caught by Lowenstein at third base. The infield for the Indians is Lowenstein at third, Duffy at short, Brohammer at second, and Ozzie Blanco, the first baseman. Behind the plate is Duncan. In the outfield is LeRon Lee. In left, center field is Hendrick, and right field is Charlie Spikes. All right, so he rips one, but right into the glove of the first baseman, Blanco. And now it's Leo Cardenas, another interesting player who had 92 at bats with 25 hits, batted 272. I'm not sure if he was traded or if he just retired, or his age is 35. So, but he just didn't play very much. Never got to 100 at bats that season. I find that interesting as well. So you really learn a little bit about the team when you start playing the team day in and day out, and use actual lineups. You learn the strengths, the weaknesses, the injuries. When suddenly you don't see a player for a month on the roster, you're aware that okay, but he'll eventually be back. So you look forward to him getting back, and then meanwhile you're just trying to find anybody to fill out that position and be a little bit productive. All right, so Leo Cardenas sees a pitch. And that's going to be a 54. That's a 54 card check. And it's going to say go to Wilder chart. So we've got to pull a second card. Go to the Wilder section. And it says strike 3. Catcher drops the ball. F batter. he is an A batter, so it doesn't apply. So we don't roll against the catcher's E rating. If he was fast, we would roll it against the catcher's E rating because he's rushing it. And in this case, he doesn't have to. Takes his time, and it's really a strikeout. So I'm just going to put strikeout, and that ends the inning. All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Frank Duffy is up. Frank Duffy batted .233. And he played the whole season, 158 games. He was a pretty decent shortstop. He's got a 13 range out of 20, which is pretty good. And his arm is average. Error, very low, a 4. All right, here is Duffy. The pitch from Jenkins, a 65, and that's a -3 for a home run. He did hit 8 home runs. So, oh boy, this is going to be trouble. It's a -3, so he's a 14. That brings it down to 11. But we rolled the 3, so that is a drive to left down the line. And is that fair or foul? Because if it is, it's going to be trouble. It's a fair ball home run, and it is Duffy who makes the score 2-0 on that shot, and this is his 6th home run of the season. We are 2 months into the season, but he's a little bit ahead of his pace. I feel that's a little bit generous on that 65 result. And even if Jenkins had his A column, he's a 1 to 8 there. So the -3 would make it 5, and that we rolled really low. All right, so Duffy contributes with a home run. Oh, no, I wrote that home run in there twice. All right, and now it's Lowenstein. And that's a 65 back. And Lowenstein is another guy. I love this game. He's another guy with a -3. We roll it, and again we look at the 14. -3 is 11, but we roll the 4, and that ball is a drive way back into right field, looking up his burrows. And this is a 3-0 ball game. Back-to-back jacks here at Cleveland. Let me get the right field. At the Cleveland Stadium. That is funny. All right, so it is Duffy and Lowenstein who hit 8 home runs and 500 at bats. Both go back to back, and that's pretty consistent because they both hit 8 home runs in pretty much the same number of at bats, and they both have no home run in 66, but at 65 they have a -3. So that's consistency in terms of the data, right? The ratings. All right, here is Jack Brohammer. So it is 3-0 against Jenkins here. Does not have his best stuff today, so that's a 12, and that'll be a fly ball left field. And it's Alex Johnson who lines it up, makes the catch for the first out. LaRon Lee is next. I remember him playing with the Padres for a long time. And the pitch to him, and that's a 64, which will be ripped and caught by the second baseman, Randall, L4. Hit on the screws. A BB at Randall, and Randall took the self-defense pose, but made the catch. And that's 2 outs, and here comes Charlie Spikes. It's 3-0 ball game. Cleveland in this inning with back-to-back jacks. And that's a 13 with a 17, and that's a high fly left field. Alex Johnson is out there, makes the catch, and that retires the side. We go to the top of the 6th. And it's leading off will be Jim Sundberg. And we're ready here for Sundberg's at bat. There's a pitch from Fritz Peterson at 26 against lefty. That's a hard hit ground ball and through the left side for a base hit single. So Sundberg, who's an average runner, is on at first. And it's Cesar Tovar. Now Tovar can bunt. And we're not going to bunt. We're down 3 here. 52. Now that's a possible error result. That 14 is our KD roll. Now we got to roll for the error. And it's very high, so it's probably not an error. 52 says second baseman, and I know Brohammer is not at a 20. That would be highly unlikely. Brohammer is a 3 at second base. So Cleveland does have a pretty good offense. Now, all right, so what is this? This is a ground ball to the second baseman. But with that 19, it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. They turn it. All right. So Cleveland is showing off the glove, the leather, right? Here's Randall, Lenny Randall. Steps in the box. He's a switch hitter batting from the right side against the lefty Peterson. Here's the pitch, and that's a 52 again with a 6. That KD is 1-3, so that we have to roll now for the error. And a 6, maybe an error on a 52 again. His second baseman, and Brohammer, we said was a 4, but we rolled a 6, so he will make that play. And the inning is over, 4-3. And now it's Oscar Gamble here for the hometown Cleveland Indians. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. And it's a 42, and that will be a fly ball left field down the line. And Johnson after it, and he runs it down in left field. Nice play by Alex Johnson. And here is George Hendrick, who hit 19 home runs and 500 at-bats. He's got a home run at 66, 1-13. That's interesting. And no minus on the 65. 65 is the pitcher home run. The 66 is basically the batter home run, if you will. And the way he limited that 66 from hurting pitchers was by putting a minus number on some, like if you're a pitcher that, let's say, pitched 60 innings and gave up only 1 home run, you'll have a minus here. And there's no 65 home run, but that minus subtracts from the 66. So if he had a minus 11, because he didn't allow any home runs or allowed just 1 home run or 2 home runs in a lot of innings, so, and the roll was 65 pitcher home run, that minus says, okay, there's no home run on 65, and then that minus 11 would get sent over to the home run 1-13, and that would become minus 11 to 13 would be 2. So only on a roll of a 1 or a 2 would you get a home run. And that's how he limited really the outliers, the pitcher outliers, who allowed very few home runs. And that's simply because, So anyway, all right. So it's Hendrick. We rolled. It's a 43. And that's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman. He will flip to the pitcher covering, and close play at first base. Hendrick hustling down the line, but Jenkins just beat him there, and Jenkins looking over and saying something with a smile across his face. Yeah, the catcher's gonna go out and talk to Jenkins here to let him catch his breath. And it's Ozzie Blanco. He's been the thorn in the side of the Rangers today. He's been up twice, and he's reached base twice. He's one of those unlikely, basically players who didn't appear very much and didn't do very much, but he had 29 at-bats with his, actually had 36 at-bats in 18 games. So here's the pitch. And that's a 55, and that is rip base hit. Ozzie Blanco's doing it all. Not only that, he had no stolen bases, but he was caught 3 times. So he's going to, let's see what happens here. That's funny. So on a 55, he's got to go. There he goes, a throw down in time. So it's a single. Tries to steal. He's caught stealing 2-4, and that ends the inning. All right, we got 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, and it is Tom Grieve who singled, and he's on first base right now against Fritz Peterson, who so far has not allowed a run in 6 and 2/3 innings, and he's facing Fregosi. Fregosi can hit. Now he batted .280, batting .277 in the replay. So here's Here's a pitch, and it's a 32, and a 32 is a blank there. We go over here. It's a double. It's a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfield and roll to the wall. Coming around to score will be Grieve at first base, and the Rangers are on the board 3-1. They finally got to Fritz Peterson. 3-1 now. Cleveland with the tying run at the plate, and Toby Harrah, who's got decent power. He hit 21 home runs and almost 600 at-bats, batted .260. And he's got a home run at 65 and a home run at 66, 1-11. So a dinger here would tie up this ball game, which would be good. I am rooting for the Rangers. Rangers so far in my season replay, not doing great, 23-27. Not terrible, but not great. The Indians, on the other hand, are 28-21. So the teams basically that I don't manage do really well. The ones I do are all terrible. Oh boy. I'm not going to use deductive reasoning for that. All right. 65. This is exactly what the doctor ordered, but unfortunately, Fritz Peterson is in at his 8 column, and that's a 15. It's 1 to 10. A 15 is going to be so he misses what could have been a home run pitch, and instead grounds it into an out here at third base. Lowenstein up with it over to first, and that retires the side. So there was a little bit of excitement there. It's 3-1. Okay, so here we are in the top of the 8th inning. Rangers with 2 outs have runners on first and third. Now it says for Randall to steal, I used the auto steal system, but I'm not going to steal here since I'm down by 2 runs. Just not going to do it with 2 outs. It doesn't make sense. I'd rather allow Alex. So I'm going to override. Right, I'm going to override the stolen base, the auto stolen base here. And one thing I just noticed, and to just share out how I play, I noticed that Peterson doesn't complete a lot of games. In 29 starts, he only had 3 complete games. Now he's already red on my helper, which tells me, hey, take a look at this guy. He's already reached his limit here. Now, in the actual game, he's also reached his limit. So since that combination of basically, facts is going to guide me to make a move right here. I'm going to make a move. I'm going to go to the Indians bullpen, and I'm going to check and see who's available. Let's see. So I got their closer is a guy named Buskey, and that's what they need right here. And he's available. He's not tired. Everybody's actually pretty fresh. So that's a good thing for the Indians in the bullpen. And that's one thing a helper will do, right? He'll tell you, hey, you can use this guy. He wasn't used in the last series, and so on. It'll tell you who's up to start. Like my next start is Bob Johnson. Then after that is Jim Perry. Then after that it will be Gaylord Perry, and so forth. All right, so Tom Buskey's coming in, and we will roll for his stuff. He will have average stuff, and see what happens. The Rangers are trying to claw back into this game. We'll see what happens. Here is Tom Buskey trying to pick up a save. And Alex Johnson is at the plate with runners on first and third. There's 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 3-1 Cleveland lead here against Texas, who's batting. Cleveland 3-7-1 and Texas 1-7-0. And it's a 61, and that'll be a fly ball right field. Backing up a couple of steps is Spikes, but he'll have it. And that retires the side. So not much came of that. And here's Fergie Jenkins, who does have 29 complete games in 41 starts. He completed 3/4 of all his games, all his starts, which is pretty amazing. And I use these I cut out these pieces of paper to cover up the other columns, so I can focus on just the column that he is. And here we are in the 8th inning, so he may go a complete game if he can get through this inning and we don't score on the top of or we don't tie it or take the lead in the top of the 9th. Cleveland won't come to bat anymore, so he may pick up a complete game here facing Jack Brohammer now, who's a lefty hitter. And Brohammer played 100 games, 315 at bats. He batted 270, so he held his own. It's a 61, that'll be an out. So this is Brohammer doesn't strike out that much. So on 61, he has an out. If he didn't have anything there, it would be a strikeout. But that's how he also limits guys who kind of strike out a little bit less. And he only struck out 22 times in 300 at bats. So this is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, Hara, who over to first, and that's one away. Here's LaRon Lee again. And it's a 55, so that's a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. Hits off the base of the wall, played by Tovar. Here's the throw to second, the tag, and he is safe with a double. 1-out double by LaRon Lee. He had played in 79 games with 13 doubles, 5 homers, 233. He is an average runner, so can hold his own out there. And that's base running ability, skill. It's not so much speed, right? All right, Charlie Spikes. Jenkins gets the sign from Sundberg. He's ready. And the pitch, and that's going to be a 41. 1-18 base on balls. That 17 qualifies, and that's ball 4. So Jenkins in a little bit of trouble here, maybe tiring a little bit in the bottom of the 8th. And it's 1 out with first and second, and guy who can be dangerous. Oscar Gamble hit 20 home runs in 454 at bats. Played almost the whole season, which is kind of cool. This is a very Indian lineup that is consistent in the players they start, right? They got all the players that are playing on this lineup pretty much played the whole season so far that I've seen, except maybe Ozzie Blanco. All right, so here is Gamble, and Jenkins gets the sign. And that is going to be a 44. That's going to be ripped with an 18, and that is going to be a RBI single. Around comes LaRon Lee to score, and going to third is Spikes. Oh boy, so we got first and third with 1 out. We don't want to allow them to score anymore. There's movement in the bullpen now. Jenkins, let's see where Jenkins is. He can go 36 batters. He's only gone 32 batters, so he's got more batters, but it's alerting me that he's already tired out in the helper. So I use kind of my common sense plus a combination of both those ratings, right? The one that's on the helper and then the one that's on the card. So here's George Hendrick. Now we're going to have to play the infield in here. I'm not a huge fan of playing the infield in. So what we're going to do is play infield in at the corners, and we're going to play halfway for the double play up the middle. Hendrick does hit into a lot of double plays, by the way. 12 to 15, they're automatic, and then 16 could be a potential, and 25 could be a potential. So, and there's some 40s as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for a double play to get us out of the inning. So I'll play those 2 men up the middle. At double play depth, and then I'll play the corners, and I just don't want that run to score. And here's a pitch to George Hendrick, and that's going to be a 61, just with the doctor orders. A swing and a miss, struck him out. Great play, great pitch by Jenkins, big play. And and here comes Ozzie Blanco. Blanco is 2 for 2 with a walk. He's a guy who had 36 at bats with 7 hits, and he's got 2 of them here. So let's see if he can do a little bit more damage against the Rangers. So Jenkins gets the sign and the pitch, and 46 with a 15. That's going to be a foul ball. And will that stay in play? Yes. And he's a righty, so that will be on the right side. And that is Fregosi near the stands, reaches in and comes up with it. Holy smokes. So it's a foul out to 3 off the off the ballpark card. That could have been dangerous. Had we hit a 17, 18, or 19, that would have been a potential double. Yeah. Or even a 4 or 5 would have been a potential double. So luckily Jenkins gets out of that predicament, that pickle, and it is Jeff Burroughs to lead off the top of the ninth. Buskey's in there. Tom Buskey, 51 games, 93 innings pitched, 1.3 WHIP, 2-6 record with 17 saves. So not great, but he is the closer. So let's do it. Here's Jeff Burroughs. And that's going to be a 53, which is a range play. And that 19 is the first roll, which is the KD roll. So that we're going to have to roll. It's going to be to the second baseman. Second baseman, Brohammer. And Brohammer is a 15 on range. Anything with 15 or less. 17, it's by him to right center field for a base hit. So Burroughs grounds it hard and past the diving Brohammer for a base hit. And the tying run comes to the plate now in Tom Grieve. Tom Grieve has good, decent power. Hit 9 home runs and 260 at-bats. Let's see what happens. Tom Buskey gives up the long ball with a 1-14. So if we roll 65s, we have 75% chance almost of knocking one out of the park, which is what we need right now. Let's see what happens. Here's the pitch, and that's a 51, a potential error. That 6 is not going to qualify for the KD check, but it's to the shortstop. But remember, these Cleveland Indians don't make many errors, and he's 1-4, so anything above a 4 will be an out to the shortstop, and picks it up, throws to first, and that is, oh, wait a second, that's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. Whips it to Brohammer at second for a 6-4 fielder's choice. No throw to first as Grieve goes, as Burroughs goes in hard. All right, here's Fregosi now with 1 out and 1 on. Again, Fregosi hit 12 home runs and 230 at bats, so he's got automatic at 66 and a good chance at 65 against Buskey. All right, let's do it. Here's the pitch. Oh, a 15. That's a hard hit ball to short. This is tailor-made double play. Duffy goes to Brohammer, back to first in time. Ball game over. 6-4-3. And that's the ball game, guys. The winner is going to be Fritz Peterson. He's 3-2. Jenkins takes the loss. He's 11-3. Buskey picks up his third save. The MVP will be Fritz Peterson. Let's look at the box score a little bit. The Indians improved to 29-21. The Rangers fall to 23-28. For the Cleveland, it's 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. For the Rangers, it's 1 run, 8 hits, no errors. 2 hits for Randall, 2 hits for Burroughs. Randall's batting .318, Burroughs .258. 2 hits for Blanco, batting .226. And let's look at Fritz Peterson, who's the MVP. 7.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, no walks, no home runs, 4.17 ERA. Jenkins, he went 8 innings, a complete game, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 base on balls, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, and a 1.80 ERA. He had a great season, by the way, Jenkins. 25-12 with a 1 WHIP. So, thanks for watching. Tony Porter. Remember to like and subscribe my channel. This is Fall Classic Baseball, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Take care.